Great. I just wanted to take a moment and welcome you guys to our December Knowledge and Nibbles. I just want to thank you guys for taking time out of your day to participate in what we hope is a very enlightening and encouraging lunchtime event. My name is Amy Abeda, and I am with Fireplace Warehouse, and I am our 2021 chair. The wonderful Beth Avedis has been our stellar 2020 chair, and I'm grateful to be serving following her. So during the event, we know that Dawn is going to provide us with a lot of great information, and there may be topics that we want to comment on and have helpful feedback with. So we just like to ask that you save your questions until the end, where we will absolutely open it up for discussion and conversation. Today, we want to thank our sponsors, as always, our wonderful overall sponsors, Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center. Sarah, are you on our Zoom call today? Sarah McDaniel? No, okay. Sarah, I'm sure as many of you know, Sarah McDaniel and Ferguson and BAC have been longtime supporters of not only the PWB, but the HBA as well. We also want to thank Custom Flag Company for being a great overall sponsor. And Kim Griebling, are you on our meeting today? I didn't see her, you guys.
I don't think Kim's on. Nope.
Okay. Well, I do know that Stacy Locke from Structure Home Warranty is on our meeting today. Stacy, can you say hi real quick?
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to take part. Hi.
So not only is Stacy and Structure Home Warranty a phenomenal overall sponsor, but they actually sponsored our book sharing today. So the first 15 registrants of today's meeting will receive a copy of Dawn's book, Whistled. So Stacy, thank you so much for providing those books to our membership.
Absolutely.
Yay. We are going to try and play a little video here from Structure. If we can make it happen, we're dealing with some bandwidth issues, so we'll see what we can do here.
Here we go.
All right, thank you so much. So before we introduce our speaker here, I did want to let you guys know that we will be hosting our first quarter virtual empowerment luncheon February 19th of 2021. So we would love for you guys to stay tuned for more information about that event and who our engaging speaker will be for that one. So now, without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. A former PWB chair, Dawn Duhamel has spent her entire career in the home building industry. She began her career as an on-site salesperson and worked her way all the way up through the ranks to vice president roles for local and national home builders. Today, she is a director of business development for Possibilities for Design, one of the country's most awarded interior design firms. I've personally known Dawn for many years and love being in her circle of well-directed energy and enthusiasm. She just published her first book, which is, I hope, her first of many. And it is called Whistled, which is a memoir chronicling how she overcame personal and professional obstacles, the hardest of which was being fired for the first time in her life late on in her career. She's a positive force for our board, and it is my pleasure to introduce Dawn Duhamel.
Thank you, Amy. I don't know if anybody saw last night on, I think it was NBC, where they lit the tree in Rockefeller Center, which I've never ever seen in my life, but that was what I did last night. And you had all these performers and they do all these great things. And then they go, thank you, everybody, Merry Christmas. And there's just silence, right? Because nobody could be there. So now I sort of know how they feel. So so thank you, everybody, for two things. One is for attending this session. I hope if you get one thing out of it, it makes a difference in your life. That's my hope. But also for everybody, for most of you, for being on screen, because I know that was something that I did ask, that if it was possible, we would love to see your faces. And I think that we already had someone. Who was it? I'm trying to find her. Haley sent something in the chat that said, you know, it's so nice to see everybody's faces. So I know it's hard sometimes. We're really busy. We have a lot going on. And then, you know, if we don't have to see our faces, we can do a bunch of other things. So first of all, just want to let you know, if you have to get up and you need a bio break and you need more coffee or water or more dressing on your salad, whatever, it's totally fine, and just do it, because that is what this group and what today's event is supposed to be about, no matter what. It's just a casual time for us to get together. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. And can everybody see? Finding sunshine and shadows and fun little Poe on the side that I had to include, because I don't know anybody who doesn't do this. When I'm bored, I eat. When I'm happy, I eat. When I'm sad, I eat. So basically, we're just eating all the time, and now we're going into the holidays, so it's couldn't be more perfect. So one of the things that I want to first kind of start off with is that for me, potentially, unfortunately, I've kind of become an expert in dealing with personal and professional bad news. So when I was 16 years old, I was mugged, and it was kind of one of those situations that happened outside. There was no one else around. It was two of them, one of me. Some things I had on were stolen. It was really a scary situation. I was on a bike at the time, a bicycle, and I was 16, right? So think back to when you're 16 years old and you have something like that happen. It's something you hope never happens. And once it does, you sort of in a way become a statistic, right? You're just kind of one more in a list of many that's experienced that. When I was about 17, our house was burglarized. And by the way, at this time, I was living in Miami, Florida, in an area that was considered safe. No problem whatsoever. So my father had moved to Kentucky, which is where we eventually moved to as well from Florida. And he was already there working, and my family, the rest of us, stayed in Miami so I could finish high school. And one morning my mom came in and said, hey, did you go out into the garage this morning? And I said, no, why? She said, well, because the door's closed. And you know how you have certain things in your house that you do, certain places you leave your purse, things like that. Well, we just had a door that went to the garage that never was closed. It's Florida, don't ask. But anyway, the door was closed. And so my mom and I like tiptoed. She had a baseball bat in her hand. I don't know what we thought we were doing, but you know, her purse had been stolen. So someone had actually been inside of our house and burglarized parts of our house. And we didn't know if they were still around. So that was a couple years later. I wrote this down as like these, you know, I was trying to kind of come up with, okay, how could I describe that quickly? So the no money left is when I went to college, I was the first in my family to attend college. And at some point, I think probably my sophomore year, there was just no money left, meaning there was no way for me to continue to go to college. So I had to go in, I was going to Indiana University. I had to go into the registrar, I had to go into financial aid. And they said to me, you know, you're getting everything that you could possibly get. There's really nothing left. And this was in the mid 80s. And so I had to work really hard to sort of just figure out how in the world am I going to continue college. This next one, I can't imagine looking at everybody's faces on the screen that some of you haven't experienced this. There's two different things here. Me too, we all know, unfortunately, or I hope for some of you, you actually don't know or haven't experienced that. But for me, my situation was I was in the home building industry, which is, as Amy said, where I started my career, and was working with a big builder and had a situation happen where I was very young at the time, and I was sent off to a regional area where I was going to be sort of schooled in kind of how things worked, because the regional area was the area where all the big decisions happen. And since I was sort of new to the region, the idea was we'll send her there and she'll get acclimated. And so I won't tell you the whole story here. But I will tell you that what happened was I spent a day touring with one individual, happened to be a man, happened to be a very high-powered man. And we went to dinner after spending the whole day looking at product and talking about feasibility studies and buyer profiles and product. And, you know, to me at the time, I think I was 24. I felt like, wow, I am just so excited by every second of this and this attention, and isn't this awesome for me? And I'm just learning so much. And at dinner we had at the restaurant where we were staying in the hotel. So it was right on property. And the server came over and we were finished with dinner, and she looked at us and she said, will you be having any dessert? And so I said, oh, you know, I went to kind of say, no, I'm okay. And the gentleman that I was with said, actually, we will take some whipped cream to go. And I was scared, nervous. Everything that I thought had happened all day long suddenly didn't happen. All that mattered was just this moment and what was going to transpire after that. And what did transpire is that he walked me to my hotel room after I said, I'm completely fine. And then it took several minutes. I mean, to me, it seemed like 10 minutes, but I'm sure it was just several minutes of me trying to figure out, how will I get inside my hotel room when this man has his arm in front of it? So there's that. And then the second part, which says you'll love him, is something completely different. So that is about, fast forward several years, I was VP running sales and marketing for a builder, and had started when the division had maybe 4 salespeople. Now we were up to like 15, 16, and it was really just too much for one person. And so I said, I presented a whole idea like, hey, I'd really like to get some help, get a general sales manager. How does that look? I was able to interview people. I was able to actually even make an offer to someone. And then the division president called me in and he said, hey, I have some really good news for you. And the good news is that we are bringing someone in. Actually, at that point, I would have been a director, I suppose. We're bringing somebody in who's going to be your vice president of sales and marketing. And you are going to be the general sales manager. And so I thought, what am I missing about this? Like that's not quite what we've been talking about. That's not quite the people that I've interviewed. So what's happening? So what was happening was that somebody in the region was being promoted and there was nowhere in that particular division for them to go. So they were going to just promote them here to Colorado, and I was going to be demoted. And the division president actually said to me, I mean, this guy is a great guy and everyone loves him. You will love him. I mean, it will be the best thing in your career to be able to report to him. You'll love him. And I thought, okay, thank you for that. And then about a week later, I left. So now we're at a different builder. I was pregnant. I think I was pregnant maybe with my third child. And we had a situation where my salesperson had a client on site that was unhappy. And again, won't tell you the details, but what you should know is that the salesperson made the right decision. The salesperson was trying to stick up for the voice of the consumer because potentially we hadn't really done what we should have. And that happens, right? That's an easy thing to get out of. The construction superintendent was really unhappy that the salesperson didn't support him. And so that went up the ladder. And so it was now me, who was the vice president at the time, along with our vice president of construction. He was in my office and we were talking it through, and I just kept saying, listen, I really think she did the right thing. I think that's what we want to do for realtors in the neighborhood, for all of our consumers out there. The word is going to spread. I think we did the right thing. So we're having this discussion, and he just was really frustrated with me. And he turned to me and he said, if you weren't pregnant, I would slap you right now. Gosh, okay, you can't, no, okay, thank you. Anyway, now we're gonna go forward even more. In 2013, two of my three girls were at Arapahoe High School when a 17-year-old boy came in and walked into the school, and a girl he knew was sitting on a bench, and she looked at him and she said, hey, what are you doing? And he turned around and shot her in the face. Both of my kids were in the school at that time. And so what happens when you're a parent and a part of something like that is everything is black. And you get that call, not from a child, but from someone who heard on the radio that there's a shooting. I was actually in one of our models staging it, and just ran to the school not knowing one way or another. And that process, by the way, I just want to take a moment here because clearly in Colorado, we've had a number of these. I just want to let everyone know, if you know anyone who has gone through this, meaning their child was in the school at the time, even if they weren't injured, I just want you to know that is something that sits with them and with their child for a long, long time. So the anniversary around when that happens becomes a definite feeling of anxiety for those people. So just kind of give grace if you know of anyone who's gone through that, because it's not something that leaves. Then, I've never been fired in my life except for one time, and that was when I was about 50 years old, also working for a builder. And what happened there is a much longer story than I can share here, but I do want to just kind of bring it up here. And that is that I actually had some employees, or someone that at least at the very least worked within the division, whether they were a direct report to me, unlikely, but called the whistleblower line. We were a Fortune 500 company, and said I was having an affair with the division president. So, which just for the record, never happened. And so what I realized at that time is that you can use a whistleblower line to actually try and ruin someone's career. And if you're in a public company and someone calls a whistleblower line and just makes something up, which is what happened to me, the corporation has certain internal requirements where they have to do something with that, right? So they had to come and talk to me, they had to record me, they had to interview me, they had to do all of these things, because the way whistleblower calls are set up really is if something is really wrong in a company, like someone's stealing money, there's got to be some kind of way for someone to report that, right? Without them having any kind of retribution. But guess what? You can also just make something up, and you can just call and you can just say that, and then you can just let whatever else happens. And so anyway, for me, that's what happened to me. And then after that happened, so I'm in my mid 50s now. That last line in terms of drifting, searching what's wrong with me, that was several years really of asking myself those questions. It didn't really matter that I was employed immediately. It just mattered that I had some soul searching to do to say, wow, this just happened to me in my life after I've worked so hard, right? How could that happen? So those are all the, oh my gosh, heavy. Everybody take a deep breath. But what I want to talk to you about now is why all those things actually have turned out to be really positive things in my life. And for those of you who know me, this won't be a big surprise. I do try and find that silver lining, and sometimes you can't. The reality is sometimes you can't. But you know, when I was assaulted, I actually didn't lose all the jewelry I was wearing. I was in Miami, let's face it. So maybe I was wearing some gold jewelry, had some charms on, probably had some bracelets, like that was cool in the 80s. But, you know, I negotiated with my attackers, and I was able to then sort of just move on with my life without always constantly living in fear. The burglary actually, you know, enabled me to see a woman, which happened to be my mother, being really strong in a crisis, which, by the way, when the school shooting happened, I feel like I just turned into my mom. You know, who I was at that time was because I had a role model for some other crisis in my life, right? When there was no money left to continue to go to college, I just found a way. You know, besides just working, I mean, I just worked with the school to get loans, to figure out a way so that I could stay. You know, the Me Too and the You'll Love Him, I really feel like for me, on the other side of that was that I valued me. And especially when I was told, even though you've been doing this work at a vice president level, we're going to bring someone else in and effectively demote you. I felt like, you know what, I deserve better. I do. And I think sometimes it's hard to acknowledge that when you're in an environment where people are telling you what's good for you. If you believe and trust the people that you're around, you want to believe and trust they have your best, they are thinking of the best for you. And the reality is, if you are not always thinking about the best for you, everything else sort of crumbles around that. So that was a really big lesson for me. This one is just, if you weren't pregnant, you can't, yeah, you actually can't say that. So that wasn't really so much, I guess, a learning point for me, but just the ability, by the way, for me to say that that's not an acceptable behavior, even though you are 25 years older than me, sir. That's not cool. You can't say that. That's not the kind of company that we're trying to build here. So all of these things, kind of all these sort of ratcheted up kind of my belief in myself and what I felt like I deserved as a human being. Obviously, you can't go through a school shooting and not come out of that saying what really matters here. You know, for a period of time, I think I really wasn't as concerned with how much traffic we had over the weekend as much as how many 14-year-old girls can I fit in my house to make cookies for weeks at a time, because that's really what they need and that's what I need. So, you know, these things have a way of working out. So the being fired at 50 with a whistleblower complaint really for me shattered a lifelong paradigm. And that paradigm for me was that if you work hard, you will be rewarded all the time. And so, you know, that might not seem positive, shattered a lifelong paradigm, but the truth is, for me, that's 100% what I always believed, and for a lot of reasons. And so I think it was good for me to realize that, you know, sometimes you can work really hard and things don't go your way. Sometimes you have a personality conflict with someone. Sometimes people are threatened by you. There could be a number of things. And so, I mean, truthfully, I probably thought before this happened to me that when people got let go, they got let go because they were sort of the bottom, right? I mean, the bottom 30%. You couldn't be a good performer and be let go from a company, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you don't have any HR problems and you're performing well, you're not going to get let go from a company, right? That doesn't happen, but that does happen, and it did happen. And so what I realized after that happened is that when people are let go from a company, it's like a shameful thing. Like nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to even say they were ever let go. Like sometimes people can say I was laid off, but even that feels bad. And so now what I've realized is that by being able to talk about the fact that these things happen and they're just one person's opinion doesn't and shouldn't devalue you. That is such an important piece. And I don't really think, truthfully, that I can say I really believed that until it happened to me. And then I realized, okay, you know what? This is something we all need to be talking about because people are ashamed of this and they don't need to be. And then the last piece is the 2 years or whatever it was of drifting and searching and asking myself, like, what the heck? I've lived this life of all these achievements and then bam, how am I now to this point where I'm not valuing myself as much? And really it just was, the result of that was I wrote a book. And I can tell you that right now, I guess the book's been out for maybe a month or so. And I'm getting texts and Facebook messages from people that I don't know that well. Certainly on Facebook Messenger, I don't maybe know the people that well. People are sending me stuff saying, you know, somebody told me about your book and I just read it. And then they're telling me their stories. And it's not just women, it's men. And so, you know, if you look at everything that's on the screen, if all of that ended up meaning that I felt the passion around writing this book, and now I'm finding so many people that can relate to it. I mean, to me, I feel like, you know, that's a win. The bottom of your screen here says what matters is what you do next. And, you know, it's something that I talk about a little bit in the book. And I think that that's one of the things I hope you walk away with today, which is, you know, we're going to have things in our lives that are not great. You know, that happens. But what matters is not so much that, it matters what you do next. And it's critical that you do something next. So I want to talk to you right now. I'm going to kind of shift a little bit. Kind of that is sort of my background and how all of the things that I've gone through that have been challenging, and that's actually not a full list of all of them, how they've kind of gotten me to the place where I am today. But I want to share something with you. I did some research. I found a study that was done about a month ago through the American Psychiatric Association. And these are some things that are coming up on your screen right now that people are stressed about right now. Our population, the COVID pandemic, the 2020 election. And you know, it's funny because I almost took this off because it's over, but we're still stressing about it, 100%. Treatment of minorities by police, job stability, parental responsibilities. I think that could be just a circle back up to the COVID on that. And the future. And the future meaning yours, your parents' future, if you have aging parents, your kids' future. And something I thought was pretty interesting about all of these things is something I want to share in this next page. So all of those things that you just saw on the previous screen, I'm going to show you, according to this survey, the percentage of respondents that were concerned. And I'm basically only showing you things that had a 50% or higher response rate. So this is what our population, 78% concerned about the pandemic, 77% the future of our nation. And what I'd like to say here is when you see a number that high, right? Republican, Democrat, Independent, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that high of a population is concerned, right? These are stressors right now. 68% was concerned about just the election. So you have the future and the election, two different things. 65%, the current instability of the country, how we seem to be very, very divided right now. Whichever side you're on, that's just not anything that any of us can really ignore. This one I thought was super interesting. 60%, almost 60% of people are concerned of the treatment of minorities by police. And here's something really interesting. These surveys, by the way, done every 4 years. Look at that number in 2016. 4 years ago, 36% were concerned, almost 60% now. 56% job stability, Okay, I added this one, 33% of people are concerned about personal discrimination, right? So not as a class or race or anything, but just in general, this is somewhere on people's mind. And the reason I put this on, even though the number is only 33%, is I thought you would find it interesting. There was only 25% in 2016. So we're definitely seeing a shift of things that people are concerned about. And if you look at the top four, COVID, future, election, current instability, those things are still happening now. And the reason I'm sharing all this with you is based on these results, there's probably an 80% chance that those of you that are listening right now these things bother you too, that you're upset about these things, that sometimes something sparks you during the day and you go to bed at night and you can't sleep and your mind's racing and you don't know what to do. And these are things that are just below the surface. The other thing I wanted to share with you, because I know who this audience is, I know so many of you, either you know someone who's a Gen Z, your kids are Gen Z, or I don't think anyone on this on this audience is a Gen Z in the 18 to 23-year-old age group, but the Gen Z group that's coming up right behind us, right? They're about to enter the workforce. They're a big group, and I thought it would be, we should understand and know what's happening with them. And the first thing I want to say is that their stress is amplified. So they are even more concerned than we are about certain issues. 80% worried about the future of the nation. 67% were worried about the election. But look at these other two things that were not on the overall list at this level. 62% are concerned about the rise in suicide rates. Now, I'm not saying the rest of us are not, but this is this age group. This is something that they are concerned about, that they are worried about. And then 58% of them, they are stressed by the widespread sexual assault that they see in the news. So you can see right under there, if you can see my screen, 67% of Gen Z females versus 47% of males. So we are all females on this call right now. So I thought it would be interesting for you to know that this whole, this group that's coming up behind us, that we have the ability to mentor and sort of raise up. These are some things they're really worried about. And I, two of my three kids are in this group. And so this sort of picture on the right-hand side that says, I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm sorry, I don't know. I couldn't have picked a better image there. And I think that is sort of how this group feels, right? So I had to put this slide in so we could take another deep breath. The reality is all these things going on around us are real. People are concerned about them. Our kids are concerned about them. Our nieces and nephews are concerned. But we are hopeful people. And women specifically are incredible. And the things that we have done and that we will continue to do are honestly nothing short of incredible. So I put this slide up here so we could just take a deep breath to know, yes, this is our reality right now. Yes, we have things that are stressing us out. And that's okay, because we have ways to keep moving. So I put this next part together for you. These are what I call my 3 Ds for a delightful day, because my first initial is D, my last initial is D, so I like Ds, and that comes up somewhere in the book too. So for those of you who've read it, you are probably laughing right now. Okay, the first one is detach, digital detach. All right, so here are just a couple things. By the way, I think my presentation will be available at some point, so I don't know that you need to do a screenshot or anything, and if it's not available, I'll make it available so you guys can have it. So number one on the digital detach is I'm gonna ask you to do things that are hard in the next couple of slides. So the first is a 6 p.m. hard stop on social media and computers. And I'm going to be the first to say I'm struggling with this right now. I could commit to 8 p.m. 6 p.m. is harder. But I'm asking us to try and make this happen, because you won't believe the difference. When I stopped going until 10, and cut that back to 8. That was a huge difference for me. And the past couple days, I've been really just trying to just stay off as much as I can. So what I want to be clear on here, everybody, is what social media and computers means. It means you're not on Facebook, and you're not on LinkedIn, and you're not on Instagram. And I'm not talking posting. I am talking this. Okay. I know we're in a world where we want to answer quickly, and anyone who's ever been one of my clients knows I pride myself in getting back to you like ridiculously quick. But we need to sort of take back some time for ourselves. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, don't allow other people's voices to overtake your own. Find space to write, to think, or to be. This is really pretty much right from this book, Digital Minimalism, which is number 3, which says read a book. Read any book, really. But digital minimalism, I read this book about a year or so ago, and it to this day has impact on me. So I highly recommend you read it. And the thing I love the most is that line. Think about this. When we're on our phone and we're scrolling, fun, like, I mean, we aren't really thinking, right? We're reading other people's words. We're reading other people's thoughts. We're reading a top 10 list. What we're not doing is just being with us and our own thoughts. And there's nothing that can replace that. So number 3, read a book. Could be any book. Get your 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. time frame, snuggle up with a book, find something that you love. I think your first one should be this one. Number 4, practice mindfulness. And I had to write this, does this scare you? So for those of you who are like, I'm not even gonna nod right now because I'm not totally sure what mindfulness is. Don't freak out. Don't be nervous. Don't be scared. You can call me. I will help you. But basically, it is just to find time for quiet. And in that time, be grateful. Find the gratefulness in your life, because it takes all the craziness and funnels it into something that you can really hold that's just for you. So that's the detach. Next thing is defend. Defend against detractors. Number 1, just say no. It's okay. Someone wants you to do this. Someone wants you to go to a Zoom call. Someone wants you to know, hey, do you want to do this gift exchange? Hey, do you want to do this? Hey, can you post this thing? And don't read it to the end, but read to the end, then post it on your thing. No, you don't have to do that. You can just say no. And I'm telling you that part of that woman's intuition that you get when someone asks you to do something and you feel kind of bad, when you say no and realize you just got time, it's the best thing. So it's okay to say no. Number 2, I'm going to say it again, be grateful. Find the time to be grateful. Number 3, missed minerals. I actually went to a store up in Evergreen. It's like a rock store up there, and they have all kinds of cool stuff, right? Like they have sage, and you're supposed to light it and, you know, move it around. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Well, they have this bottle that was a sort of liquid minerals that some woman had specially put together, and they had all different kinds. And so I bought one that said empower, just happened to like that word. And so every day when I'm finished getting ready and before I come out of my bedroom, I take this mist, I hold it up high, I close my eyes, I mist it once, I hold my hands out, I feel all the particles drop on me, and I say, thank you for this day. I'm going to make it a great one because I want to and because I can. And I literally say those words every day. I never thought I'd be a person that would do that, but I am telling you, the days that I don't do something so simple like that, I get halfway through the day and I feel like, oh no, I don't feel quite right. What is it? And I realize I didn't have that grounding moment of gratefulness. So if you do just that, you don't have to spray misty minerals from Evergreen, but spray perfume on yourself, spray something on you. Just have that moment. Number 4, mindfulness. Are you still scared? I love this picture on the screen. I think it just says so much of, you know, you can find mindfulness everywhere. One of the things that can help you if you're saying, I can't meditate, that's just really not me. I'm not asking you for all kinds of time. I'm just asking you for some time. So if you're concerned about what that looks like, so I've got these bullet points here, and they say forgive, let go, and breathe in new life, right? So you can breathe, take a deep breath in, and what you're going to think about is everything you need to forgive. Hold your breath in and let it go. And then take another deep breath and just breathe in some new life. It's the simplest things, and I promise you this works. It works. That one thing. You're having a bad day, somebody just gave it to you, or a client moved something that you were really working hard, whatever it might be, you can do this anywhere, right? She's doing it on a beach with like this awesome art piece around her, but you can just go outside and do it. You can take a walk. You can walk around your car. These are things that you have, gifts you can give to yourself that are free. Okay, number 5, invite joy, sense people, activities. I love the word joy. I mean, it means so much to me. And my desk space, I have a little cube that says joy on it. It's right where I can see it all the time. And it kind of is like, if you take that arrow from number 5 and put it right back up to number 1, they sort of go together. So say no to the things that don't bring you joy, and you know what they are. Sometimes they're people, right? So this invite joy, whether it's the sense I talked about spraying yourself with, something that just every day makes you feel good. People, especially now. It's so tough for us. We can't hold, we can't hug, we can't do any of those things, but we still need to have people around us that bring us joy. You know who they are. And the last are activities. I live in a neighborhood with 6 tennis courts, and I've lived here for 20 years. And until like 2 years ago, I've never played tennis in my life. And I would always see the women playing, and like, they look like they're having so much fun, but I probably stink at it, so I wouldn't even try. And when I went through all this sort of soul searching, and I was trying to find things in my life that bring me joy, I thought, I'm gonna take up tennis. Like, why would I not? I pay for it. It's an amenity in my neighborhood. So I just reached out to people and I said, I've never played. Could I play? 2 years later, I'm still playing. I'm not super good, but I love it and it brings me joy. And if I wouldn't have taken the chance 2 years ago to just try for something that just gave me some sense of a spirit that I didn't have, I would still today not be doing it. And literally, you guys, in the summer, I get up at 6:30 in the morning and play for an hour just because I can fit it into my day. So there's that. The last one of our 3 Ds for a delightful day is dance in your kitchen. I'm a big fan of kind of physical activity and being able to allow that in our lives and make space for it. It's hard right now, right? You can't go to a gym. There's not a lot we can do, but I've created a playlist. It's on Spotify, and it is called Double D's Dance in Your Kitchen. And I created it because literally I was having a not so great day, probably a couple months ago. Nobody's fault. Just, I don't know, just not feeling it. Maybe I was overwhelmed. I'm not going to see my granddaughter. I mean, just whatever I was thinking of. And I went on Spotify and I thought, none of these playlists are for me. I need to make my own. And so I made my own, which is on the screen here. And it is literally on Spotify, Double D's Dance in Your Kitchen. And I made this and I danced in my kitchen. Now, I'm not joking. I turned my computer off. I turned my speaker up loud and I played these songs. I've added a few more to them, but I played the first 30 minutes of it. And I was like, I've got 30 minutes for me. And it was so fun. And guess what? You might cry. You might be doing this and be having so much fun, and suddenly you find yourself crying. So you just allow yourself to let that emotion out. It's fun to be happy. And if you do this and you enjoy it, great. Maybe you should make your own. You might like mine, but you might want to make your own. So that's a big thing. I'm really right now into dancing in your kitchen. So I hope that you guys will do this, and maybe we could share on our PWB Facebook page, little videos of us dancing in our kitchen, because it's a closed group, just in case you were like, I don't want that public. No worries. Okay, I have a bonus for you. So I was putting this together and I thought, we're in December now. And we're getting ready to go into this holiday season, and clearly in Colorado, it's getting harder and harder with COVID. I think we're all just waiting for the stay-at-home order. We're hoping it doesn't happen, but I kind of think we're waiting for it. So I saw this picture, and I love this, and it says, "Everything about the holidays feels harder when someone you love is missing. But if they could see the effort you're making, they'd be really proud." And so I know for me, I know I have a friend on this call right now who has also lost her mom. Um, you know, this image to me was like, that made me feel like, yeah, my mom, who was just a badass, she's up in heaven somewhere. And you know what? She wants me to be happy down here. She wants me to make an effort, right? She would want that. So I'm giving you this special December challenge. This is my gift to you. The first is give an anonymous gift. You have either someone's physical address or their email address. I'm sure you do. Think of someone you haven't seen in a long time, right? Because of COVID, but that when you're around them, you just love being around them. Give them an anonymous gift. You can do it on Amazon. You can do it a lot of places, but you can give them an Amazon card. You can say who it's from. They don't know. They get an email from Amazon. You have a card from somebody. Could be just, your admirer. Can you imagine? Can you imagine getting that in your own email and being like, "Oh, what do you mean? I got a gift." And then you open it up and there's some nice little note, but you have no idea. You get to walk around going, oh my gosh, I just did that for somebody. And then that person gets to open that up and be like, how cool is this? So the second one is harder. I know it's harder. Go to the bank and get cash. I specifically don't put a dollar amount on there because we're all in different places, but get cash and give it to someone on the corner. And what I mean by that is someone who's on a corner asking for money. And my next line here is sort of important, and that says, don't make up a story about them. I think we have a tendency, all of us, I certainly do, to kind of just make up my own stories about myself, about people, right? That are just really, truly a story I made up. They might not be true. So I know sometimes we see people on the corner and we look at them, right? And maybe we judge them based on what they're wearing, or based on what their sign says, or based on what they look like. And what I'm asking is for us to just put that in the garbage and to just reach out and give someone something. And here's the real thought there. You are not standing on a corner asking for help, but somebody is. That part makes me emotional. Can't believe I didn't cry. All right. Anyway, I hope that we can all do this, because I know when I do this, that what I feel after that is that, that intimacy of looking at someone and saying, I see you. I'm sorry for what you're going through. I'm willing to help. Okay, and then the last thing for our December challenge is for the next month, post only about ways to help others. So if you're a poster, hey, by the way, if you have a job and your social media for your company, that may not be what you can do. And I understand that, but we all have that personal side to us. So next time you're thinking about posting something, maybe think about posting a way that you can help someone. I actually posted last night. I knew I was going to be on this call today, so I wanted to say I already did it. So I posted about Project Angel Heart, which is here in Denver, and they give, they make meals for people who can't make their own meals, and then they deliver them literally right to their doorstep. So I posted something about them and included their link and tagged them in it and just said, hey, if you forgot about Giving Tuesday, I just reminded you, and here's a place that you could do it. Imagine, there's 34 of us on this call. Imagine if we did that, even if all of us only did it one time, what that energy that's just out in the Denver world from powerful women saying, hey, if you want to give someplace, here's an idea. I mean, what are the possibilities of what could happen with that? I think is amazing. So, okay, so what I would love to do now is for us to share some ideas. And what I mean by that is I know that all of us have dealt with some struggles, and especially right now and going into the holidays. And so what I thought we could do is just have us kind of, Connie, I might need your help, or maybe we could do something in the chat box or however we want to do it. But I would really love to hear what this group has been doing to kind of keep themselves in a good headspace. So Connie, what would be the best way, do you think, to facilitate this?
Well, why don't you unshare so that we can go in the upper right hand corner and go to gallery view so that we can see everybody on the call. If we have a hard time with one person at a time talking, because we do want to hear each other, maybe we can put our hands up, or we can, there is the, where's the reaction? You can raise your hand.
Oh yeah.
And then you can moderate it. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
And also some people have had some questions in chat.
Okay. So should I go to the chat first and read those? Okay. 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 Can you, oh, so Philip, is Philip on the call? I probably just can't see him. So, oh, hi, there you are, because I was only seeing Barb. So I just wanted to say, I specifically looked at everybody on before I said that it was all just women on the call. So I apologize, but I didn't think you were on. Can you tell us the name of the store in Evergreen? Right up my alley. Okay, so I'm telling you, on the main street of Evergreen, there's like a rock shop. I don't even know. I think it's called like the Rock Shop. I will look it up though, and I will have Amy send it out to everybody. It's the cutest little place, seriously, and everybody in there is like the coolest, come over here and smell this stuff and spray. Yeah, all that. So I will look that up and give it to you, because I did look them up not that long ago and they're still in business. Thank God. Love the Spotify list. Thank you, Erin. I promise you, when you listen to the first one by Natalie Cole, that just sets you off. Like, it's so great. Oh, Crystal Garden. Someone saying maybe that place is called the Crystal Garden Evergreen. Heidi, I dance in my basement when I work out. Oh, Heidi, you're so great though. So I'm so glad that you dance in your basement, because honestly, people think like, oh, dancing. No, it's like the best thing ever. Are there any questions in here that I missed? Okay. So what I'm hoping, and just to let you guys know, I did something very similar to this chat at National Women's Conference recently. And what we did at the end, which I know we're at close to our 1 o'clock, but what we did at the end was we just had people share really quickly some things that they're doing. So if you have something that you do in your life, if you could share it now, I think that'd be the best way to kind of end this, so that, oh, Heather, I walk every day with my husband. We both now work from home, but we connect after our day with a long walk. So, so there we have, I just want to write all these down. So walking at the end of the day. What else?
So right now, Deepak Chopra and Oprah are doing their 21-day meditation. I think they're on day 12. I just started yesterday. And then also on Facebook, there's this, it's called Action for Happiness, and it's Share the Kindness Calendar with others. And they have acts of service that you can do every single day. So it's a fun little thing to do. I mean, as simple as, reaching out to somebody that might be going through something, picking up a gift for somebody that's homeless. So they're really simple, but I think just focusing on doing things right now has been key.
Priscilla, it's called Action for Happiness.
Yeah, and they have a calendar, and they have all the different, every single day there's a different thing that you can do, and it lays it out really well. So I really like it.
Awesome, thank you. Who else? Brooke, I love this idea that something bad can lead to so much good. Getting laid off from my dream job in May led me to the best professional life I've ever had. Look at you. It's so good to see you, Brooke, and congratulations. Heidi, Dawn, you're a great example of power and positivity that come from being willing to be vulnerable. Thank you for sharing your story. It was relatable, honest, and powerful. Much love, peace, and joy to you, Rockstar. Oh, thanks, Heidi. Lindsay, walking daily and dancing around the house. Yay! To find happiness. Also set up a workout area next to my desk. Where's Lindsay? Lindsay, can you come off mute and tell us, what do you mean a workout area next to your desk?
Well, oddly enough, it's actually my daughter's gymnastics bar that I use to do bar workouts, but I have weights next to it. I've got bands. You can do a lot with bands. So I just kind of make up routines and do some yoga mat, but literally like right next to my desk. So you can just pop over there for 45 minutes and then get back at it.
Such a good idea to do it right next to your desk. I have a yoga mat next to my bed, and sometimes when I walk on it, that's good enough for me. Does that count?
All count. I need a Peloton though next. That's my next.
Yeah. People are loving those. What else?
I had a huge garden this year, the biggest garden I've ever had. I used that as my solitude when I would come home from work. Just go out there. You can't really worry about much if you're picking weeds and drinking wine. So it ended up being the best garden I've ever had. And it was really good for my mental state, for me to, have goals with it and do a plan, so you could work on the weekends and that kind of stuff. So it was an excellent thing for me this year.
Thank you, Beth. And I think that sounds like a t-shirt. That's my next idea. I want to own a company that has, all we sell are black t-shirts with just something in white writing. And so I've got a list of all the ones, but yours, Beth, makes that list. Picking weeds, drinking wine.
Drinking wine.
Period. Blank job. What else?
I have a similar wine, but it's wine and reading. So between 4:35ish, and kind of wrapping up my day, my husband and I both turn on the fire pit or fireplace and just read and kind of have a little quiet time. And the kids are running around, but we don't have to help them at that moment. So it's kind of our time just to, just chill out for a second. And kind of back to your point about reading, it's just nice to step away from your life a little bit.
That's perfect. Thanks, Kristen. Fire pit and reading. That's really cool. And wine, right? So there's fire pit, there's fire and wine and
Three
words.
things. Yes.
Okay, got it. What else? Who I want to ask? Where is Genevieve? Is Genevieve still on? Did she pop off?
I'm here.
Genevieve. So Genevieve's a new mom. Congratulations on Cutie Claire. And I know she's probably getting close to 9 months or something. What is it that you've done? Because clearly you've had to do something because you're working and home and baby and all that kind of goodness.
A couple of things. I think every night we have a routine for Claire, and my husband and I both participate in just her nightly routine, whether it's feeding her, giving her bath, going up and laying on the floor of her room and just watching her crawl around and just kind of being in awe of her and just finding joy in being a parent and being parents together. So that's really what we've just been bonding over, her nightly routine and finding joy with her every day.
And you don't have your phone, right there with you. You're not texting and you're not doing what's the best baby outfit on Instagram. You're just being with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful. Who else? How about Miss Cheryl Hayflick down there? She's going to kill me later. She's going to be like, can't believe you called on me.
You got, so here's mine that I'm doing now. I've always been a huge exercise person, but I live in Longmont and there's not much, believe it or not, there's no like Orange Theories or anything around. And the only thing that's across the street from me a couple minutes away is a CrossFit gym. I did not know what CrossFit meant and what was involved. And in this one, it includes Olympic lifting and gymnastics, neither of which I have ever done in my life. But it is a good workout. It's hard as hell. I said today, this is the hardest I have ever worked out. Sometimes I feel like I'm going to puke. So anyway, the good news is I kind of tell myself, I'm just proud of myself for doing it.
That is awesome. So you joined CrossFit.
I did. Paid and everything.
I mean, are you like,
oh God, no, not yet. I'm only like, 5-6 weeks into it.
Well, that is really great. I mean, I've known Cheryl for a long time, and always she'd get up at like 2 a.m. and then work out and then drive 4 hours to her job. You think I'm kidding, but it's close to that. And so I'm sure for you, that was really difficult just to not have that as part of your life, because it's been like that for so long. And congratulations to you for doing something that seems a little intimidating.
Yes. And I'm the oldest one there,
That's even better. You're
but I
probably
don't
the best.
lead on that way.
I was gonna say, stop bragging, Cheryl.
Yeah.
So what else? Do we have anything else? I know we're at 1:05, so I want to be respectful of anybody's time. Anything else anyone wants to share that might help someone?
I did start kind of trying to refocus on my creative side. When I was in high school, all through my educational years, I was really invested in art and painting and sculpting and jewelry and all of those things. And then as I engaged more in my professional career, I found that I had less and less time I was willing to provide myself to do those things. And so very recently, I painted a mural on a restaurant wall. I started sculpting, doing a lot of like really crazy stuff that I found that, you know, I would sit in front of the TV with my husband and my brain would be like in a fog and I would just sit there and watch TV for hours a night. And I found that that was so counterintuitive to my personality and my objectives for self-growth. And I found that if I just give myself an hour, even a couple times a week where I'm doing something creative, I'm doing something that is making me feel good about who I am and how I spend my time.
Well, Amy, that is a big shock. Next time you'll have to share with us on our next PWB Zoom meeting, you'll have to share the mural.
Yes.
Where'd you
I
do
wanna know
it?
what restaurant it's in so we
Me
can go
too.
visit it someday.
We might do that. I'm very, you know, I have a lot of growth to do in my art skills. I'll say that, but it was.
Oh, no,
maybe I'll show you.
you're sharing it. I will
Good.
hunt you down.
Well, thank
So
you. Guys.
congratulations, Amy. I think like when we can find those connections to who we truly are, that's the part that brings us joy. And it's not that hard to find. We just have to listen. So, and with that, thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our knowledge and nibbles. And it was so good to see your faces. Thank you again for being present with me today. I appreciate you guys. I love you. And I hope you have a great holiday season.
This was delightful, Dawn. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a happy
holidays,
season, you guys.
Yes.
We love you.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Holidays.
Happy holidays.